Hey, this is Layla from Empower English Tutoring. I reached out to some students this week to find out what they wanted to learn about. And someone mentioned to me that they wanted to learn about how to pronounce ed endings on verbs and adjectives in English. So that's what this lesson is going to be about. I hope that it's useful for you. All of this information comes from EnglishClub.com. It is one of my favorite grammar resources, so check it out if you get a chance. So this chart is from EnglishClub.com, and we will work through it and some examples to help you with your pronunciation of ed verbs. First, take a look here. If your verb ends in the sound t, you're going to add an extra syllable, and it's going to sound like
id.
For example, want ends in the sound t. So the past tense is wanted. You have two syllables. The same is true if your verb ends in a d sound, a d sound, as an end, ended. It goes from a one-syllable word to a two-syllable word, ended. Now check this out over here. The last two ways to pronounce the ed in the past tense do not add an extra syllable. So now we're going to point to this section here, which is really important because I want to talk about the word unvoiced. Unvoiced sounds are those where you don't feel the vibration in your throat. If you put your fingers on your throat as you say the word hope, when you get to that p sound at the end, your vibration in your vocal cords is not there. So the same is true for f. If you make the f sound or s, or the sh, or ch, k. These are all unvoiced sounds. Your vocal cords in your throat do not work. You will not feel a vibration. In that case, for all unvoiced sounds, you're going to just have the t sound at the end. For example, hope, hoped, laugh, laughed, fax, faxed, wash, washed, watch, watched, like, liked. The next word that you need to know is voiced. These are all other sounds. These are sounds where your vocal cords will vibrate. Put your hand on your throat as you say the word play, play. The Y is voiced. You will feel vibrations. So it becomes played, played. We only just say the sound d at the end. There is no extra syllable. Allow, allowed. Beg, begged. Let's look at some examples and see if you can figure out how to say the different past tense endings. Okay, so let's look at the word adapt. Adapt means to change something so that you can use it in a different way. It ends in a t sound. Is it voiced or unvoiced? Take a second to touch your throat as you say it. Adapt. Okay, let's look at an example sentence and see if you can tell me the ending that you hear. Sarah just started at a new school and she has adapted well. Adapted. Okay, the rule for this one is that it's the
id
sound. You add an extra syllable because there's a T at the end of adapt. Not the letter T, just the sound T. Adapted. Let's look at the next one. Defend. It ends in the D sound. Defend means to protect someone or something. Here's an example. They defended their friend from the bully. Defended. You hear those two syllables and you know that it ends in the D sound. So it's the first rule. You're going to add an extra syllable with the
id
sound. Defended. Okay, here are three different ones. We have grasp, which ends in the p sound. Sniff, which ends in f, and fax. What is the same about all of these sounds? Are they voiced or unvoiced? Okay, say grasp. If you touch your throat at the end of it, p, or sniff, it's unvoiced. Same with fax. That's the s sound that you're hearing at the end. So if you grasp, it means to hold something tightly. She grasped the handle because she was scared. Sniff means to smell something. The little boy sniffed cookies baking. Fax. You faxed in the report to the office. Okay, the rule for this one is that you're going to hear the ed sound. There is no extra syllable because p, f, x, s, those are all unvoiced sounds. Here are three more. Stash, patch, embark. Stash means to keep or to store something in a specific secret place. They stashed the treasure in the cave. Patch. If you patch something, you're going to take one piece of fabric and sew it onto another, say a shirt or a skirt that has a hole in it. She patched the hole in her shirt. Embark. Embark means to start an important journey or course of action. For example, Stacy embarked on her college career last week. Another example is they embarked on their journey around the world. All of these sounds at the ends of the words are sh, ch, k. Those are not voiced sounds. Those are unvoiced. So you're going to have the t, ed ending with no extra syllable. For everything else, just add a d sound and no extra syllable unless you're talking about an irregular verb, which we're not discussing here. We're only talking about regular verbs. Followed. Aimed. The W sound here in follow, if you put your fingers on your throat, it will your vocal cords will vibrate. Same with the sound. You feel your vocal cords vibrate. Those are voiced sounds, and they don't fit into the t or d rules. So it is just d at the end. Remember, it's the sound that is important. The spelling or the letter doesn't matter. English Club points out in the word fax, it ends in the X letter, but the sound is an S. S, and like ends in an E, but the last sound is a K. So when you're trying to figure out which ed ending to use, if it's not an irregular verb, ask yourself what the last sound is and try to apply those three rules that we've talked about. Don't worry about what the letter is, only the sound. Okay, now if you're ready for an extra challenge, you can watch the rest of the video. Here are some exceptions. These words, when used as adjectives, are pronounced with an extra syllable, with that id sound, okay? So I'm going to pronounce these. You may need to look up some of them in the dictionary. Aged, dogged, ragged, blessed, learned, wicked, crooked, naked, wretched. Here's an example. An aged man. That means he's old. He's an aged man. 2 syllables. A blessed nuisance. A nuisance is something that is annoying. A blessed nuisance. So, for example, sometimes children can be blessed nuisances. They're blessings, but sometimes they make us tired. Okay, a dogged persistence. You'll have to hang on to the next page to see what dogged means. A learned professor. That means he's very educated. A learned professor. A wretched beggar. Wretched beggar. That's wretched means in a very, very poor, sad, miserable condition. If you think about a beggar, a lot of times their clothes are torn. They're in a bad situation in life. So wretched. However, when we use these words like verbs, not as adjectives, we follow the rules and we'll say, he aged quickly. He blessed me. They dogged him. If you dog someone, it means you annoy or harass them. But if you look back at the previous page, you'll see a dogged persistence. The meaning changes here. A dogged persistence means you don't give up. It's not annoying. It's just you don't give up and you keep after your goal. Here, they dogged him. It means to harass someone, to cause them difficulty over and over again. He has learned well. You may hear or see learnt. Just be aware that that's a possibility. All right, so that's the end of the lesson, and thanks for joining me.